Chapter 3: Vegetarianism versus Non-Vegetarianism. The old book says, "Flesh brings heavy days, a troubled heart in clouded ways. The beast's last fear in meat you find, a weight of pain on heart and mind. It clogs the blood and dims the light, and steals the strength of spirit's might. So choose the green, the fruit, the seed, a gentle path to soul's true need."
करही आहार साकफलकंदा सुमिरहि ब्रह्म सचिदानंदा.
Meaning, eat simple food like vegetables, fruits, and roots. Meditate on the true essence of Brahman, one who knows Brahma, which is Sat, Chitta, Ananda, existence, consciousness, and bliss. In simple fruits and roots we find a path to bliss, a peace of mind. Saint Tulsidas calls for a humble meal to connect with Brahma, to truly feel. With the above phrase, Saint Tulsidas states that a true diet consists of consuming natural green vegetables, fruits, and roots. In ancient times, sages attained a state of pure blissful Brahman by adhering to such a diet. However, in today's world, the availability and affordability of fruits and vegetables have become a challenge. It is not merely about following a fruit-based diet, as it may not be practical for everyone. In the present era, there are two prevailing types of diets: vegetarian and non-vegetarian. It becomes crucial to evaluate which of these two diets provides optimal nourishment to the human body. Let us explore the viewpoints of theologians, experts in religious scriptures regarding a non-vegetarian diet.
यक्षरक्षः पिशाचात्रं मद्यं मांसं सुरासवं तद्ब्राह्मणेन नान्तव्यं देवानां श्नता हविः.
Manusmriti, chapter 11, verse 95, meaning intoxicating substances such as alcohol, meat, liquor, and fermented beverages are considered as the food of demons, monsters, and spirits. Therefore, these are prohibited for those Brahmins who partake in offerings to the deities.
न कृत्वा प्राणिनां हिंसा मांसमृत्यद्यते क्वचित् न च प्राणिवध स्वर्गस्तस्मान्यांसं विवर्जयेत्.
Manusmriti, chapter 5, verse 48, meaning the act of killing animals is not necessary for attaining heaven. Without causing harm, one cannot obtain meat. Therefore, one should refrain from consuming meat.
समुत्पत्तिं च मांसस्य वधबन्धौ च देहिनां प्रशमिक्ष निवर्तेत सर्वमांसस्य भक्षणे.
Manusmriti, chapter 5, verse 49, meaning killing an animal results in the bondage of the soul. Therefore, one should refrain from consuming all kinds of meat to achieve liberation. This should be kept in mind with utmost attention.
अनुमन्ता विशासीता निहन्ता क्रयविक्रयी संस्कर्ता चोपहर्ता च खादकच्चोतिघातका.
Manusmriti, chapter 5, verse 51, meaning the livestock farmer, the one who commands killing, the one who kills, the one who dismembers, the one who sells, the one who buys, the one who cooks, and the one who consumes it. All these 8 are considered sinful.
स्वमांसपरमांसेन यो वर्धयितुमिच्छति अनभयर्च पितॄन् देवांस्ततोऽन्यो नास्त्यपुण्यकृत्.
Manusmriti chapter 5 verse 52, meaning the one who nourishes the body by consuming meat without having worshipped the gods and ancestors becomes the greatest sinner of all.
वर्षेभश्वमेधेन यो यजेत् शतसमाः मांसानि च न खादेद्य सतयो पुण्यफलं समम्.
Manusmriti chapter 5 verse 53, meaning the one who performs the Ashwamedha Yajna every year for 100 years and the one who abstains from consuming meat altogether attain equal merit.
फलमूलशेनेर्मे धैर्मुण्यभानाञ्च भोजने न तत्फलं वाप्नोति यन्मांसपरिवर्जनात्.
Manusmriti chapter 5 verse 54, meaning fruits and roots are the diet of sages. The act of avoiding harm by abstaining from meat is considered a more powerful way to accumulate spiritual merit than just following a vegetarian or plant based diet. Abstaining from meat is viewed as a direct practice of non violence, which has a profound impact on one's spiritual growth and the accumulation of virtue or good deeds, punya.
मांसभक्षयिता मुन्न यस्य मांसमिहादम्यहम् एनन्मांसस्य मांसत्वं प्रवदन्ति मनीषिण.
Manusmriti chapter 5 verse 55, meaning the flesh of the animals that I consume here in this life are the very animals that shall consume me in my afterlife. The Holy Scriptures present an example of Saint Sajjan Kasai in support of the shlokas cited above. Sajjan Kasai was a professional butcher who used to slaughter animals. However, in his subsequent births, those very animals became the ones to slaughter him. This cycle continued for 30 births and deaths. From these instances, we can draw the conclusion that according to the Manusmriti and its descriptions of meat eaters and the individuals involved in the process, meet a similar fate in their next birth. If we compare the anatomical structures of humans and carnivores, we can observe significant differences in their dentition and intestinal structure. Carnivorous animals have long and sharp canine teeth in both their upper and lower jaws, which aid in tearing meat and skin while eating. Additionally, their gastric juices are highly acidic and well suited for digesting raw meat. In contrast, humans have a different dental structure and our gastrointestinal tract GI is characterized by a longer length of intestine. Due to these distinct anatomical and physiological features of the human GI tract, it can be challenging for humans to efficiently digest and eliminate meat from our system. Consequently, some individuals may experience gastrointestinal tract diseases as a result. Another characteristic of excrement of carnivorous animals, such as tigers, bears, dogs, and cats, is that it emits a highly offensive odor. In the realm of Indian spiritual thought, the benefits of a vegetarian diet extend beyond mere physical health. It is also desirable for the development of spiritual and divine energies. These three perspectives collectively establish the notion that a meat based diet is not suitable. In other words, from a physical, spiritual, and divine standpoint, a vegetarian diet is considered appropriate. Choosing such a diet is preferable. It is noteworthy to mention here that sacrificial offerings made in fire are associated with divine food, which can only be vegetarian. Non vegetarian food, on the other hand, cannot and will never be considered divine. Is non vegetarian food detrimental to health? Despite many people enjoying non vegetarian food, considering it as the sole source of protein, it can be challenging to digest due to sedentary lifestyles. This primarily affects the Vaishvanara aspect in the stomach, which is closely related to digestion. Non vegetarian food has various effects on the physiological and biochemical constituents of the human body. Firstly, frequent consumption of non vegetarian food leads to an increase in cholesterol levels. The consumption of non vegetarian food tends to raise LDL cholesterol levels. Elevated levels of LDL cholesterol can lead to the deposition of plaque in the blood vessel walls, resulting in narrowing of the vessel lumen. This narrowing creates resistance to the continuous flow of blood to and fro the heart. Ultimately, this can lead to conditions such as heart disease and high blood pressure. Additionally, individuals who consume non vegetarian food often prefer white meat over red meat. They believe that consuming chicken is a healthier choice compared to pork, beef, and goat meat. According to research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, conducted by Dr. Ronald Cross, a specialist in atherosclerosis at Auckland Hospital, both red meat and white meat are harmful to health. The research involved three groups of people. One group was given red meat, the second group was given white meat, and the third group was given vegetarian food with lower oil and fat content. The duration of the food intervention for all three groups was 30 days. At the conclusion of the experiment, it was observed that both the red meat and white meat groups showed an increase in both HDL and LDL cholesterol levels, while the vegetarian food group showed no significant change in cholesterol levels. The increased cholesterol levels in the meat eating groups increased their risk of heart diseases. Dr. Cross also noted that fast food and junk food consumption contributed to elevated cholesterol levels. Based on Dr. Cross's research findings, it can be inferred that meat consumption is harmful to health, while vegetarian food is beneficial. It is recommended to avoid food with high oil and fat content such as pizzas, burgers, cheese, sandwiches, milk and dairy products, vada pav, pav bhaji, etc. from a health perspective. According to the research conducted by Mahayogdham, adopting a vegetarian diet using the Charvan Tarpan method can help prevent and alleviate many diseases. This conclusion is based on the experiences of devotees of Mahayog Dham after years of practice. How harmful is meat eating? Meat eating has been linked to various health issues, including obesity, constipation, and inflammation of the large intestine, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, high blood pressure, colon cancer, prostate cancer, diabetes, paralysis, cardiopathy, and diseases of the uterus. However, adopting a balanced vegetarian diet consumed through the Charvan Tarpan method can potentially help prevent these diseases and promote overall health and well being. The waste products generated by the body are not only deposited in the intestines but also in every organ and cell. Additionally, when animals intended for meat consumption are slaughtered, their waste products remain within their meat. The emotions of pain, agony, fear, and anger experienced by the animal during the slaughter process can trigger the release of harmful secretions within its body. Sri Aurobindo, in his writings, Food Booklet, page number 10, published by Sri Aurobindo Society, Pondicherry, India, describes a compelling example of how, to some extent, one ingests a portion of the animal's consciousness when consuming its meat. A Swedish disciple of Sri Aurobindo, despite being a habitual vegetarian, partook of chicken while visiting a guest. That same night, she experienced a terrifying nightmare in which someone hung her upside down in a basket, pulled her organs out, and decapitated her with a knife. She had never experienced such a dreadful nightmare, and she realized that it was a result of absorbing the consciousness or emotions of the unfortunate chicken. In her dream, she endured all the anguish that the chicken had suffered during its journey to the market, being sold, having its feathers plucked, and finally having its neck cut. This illustrates how meat, once the animal is slaughtered, can transform into a toxic substance that, when consumed, affects the mind, intellect, and body of the individual. Meat itself is considered a demonic or devilish food, provoking lust, kama, wrath, krodh, greed, lobh, attachment, moha, excessive pride, ahankar, jealousy, matsar, grudges, dvesh, a tendency towards violence and demonic behavior, asuri bhav, in individuals who consume non-vegetarian food. Vegetarian food has been advocated by numerous great personalities and world leaders throughout history. Prominent figures such as Mahatma Gandhi, Bernard Shaw, Pythagoras, Tolstoy, Newton, Leonardo da Vinci, Einstein, Milton, Saint Paul, Ramana Maharshi, Guru Nanak Dev, Aristotle, Darwin, H. G. Wells, Dr. Albert Schweitzer, Henry David, Emerson, Shakespeare, Plato, and Rabindranath Tagore have all expressed support for a vegetarian diet. For illustrative purposes, the caloric values of various food per 100 grams are as follows: meat 144 calories, wheat 353 calories, soya beans 432 calories, peanuts 564 calories, and coconut 444 calories. Please note that these values are provided as an example and may vary depending on the specific type and preparation of the food. To promote good health, prevent diseases, and support spiritual progress, it is advised to avoid consuming meat and meat products. The Charvan method alone may not mitigate the potential negative effects associated with meat consumption. Opting for a vegetarian or plant based diet is generally considered beneficial for individuals seeking physical well being and spiritual growth. Meat does not contain carbohydrates, and a deficiency of carbohydrates can contribute to intestinal health issues. Additionally, meat lacks vitamin C, which is essential for overall well being. Vitamin C, known as ascorbic acid, acts as a universal antioxidant and possesses anti cancer properties. Individuals who consume meat may be lacking this valuable vitamin in their diet. Meat lacks vitamin A, which is abundantly found in carrots. Deficiency of vitamin A can lead to night blindness and xerophthalmia, for which there is no cure. Vitamin A plays a crucial role in balancing oxygen concentration in the blood. It is more prevalent in sprouted grains. Vitamin A is responsible and effective for reproductive health, blood transport, and the treatment of arthritis. It is often referred to as a heart saver. Unfortunately, meat does not contain vitamin A. According to Nobel laureates Dr. Michael Brown and Dr. Joseph Goldstein, meat consumption is associated with significantly higher levels of LDL cholesterol, which can increase the risk of cardiac diseases, skin diseases, and kidney stones. In contrast, vegetarian meals tend to have normal or below normal levels of LDL cholesterol. In the book How Healthy Are Eggs by Robert Graysmith states that the egg white, albumin, contains a substance called avidin, which can trigger allergies, skin itching, pustules, and potentially even leprosy. Allergies to eggs can be observed in young children and even adults. This allergy can result in hives, urticaria, and asthma. Therefore, individuals with egg allergies should avoid consuming eggs and egg products. Recently, livestock owners involved in meat production have been known to use diethylstilbestrol DES hormone to promote rapid weight gain in animals. However, if meat from these animals is consumed by pregnant women, it can potentially have harmful effects on the fetus, increasing the risk of malignancy. In males, the hormone can induce feminine characteristics. Due to these concerns, the use of DES is banned. While it is important to note that meat is a rich source of protein, it is important to recognize that excessive consumption of animal protein, particularly from red and processed meat, impacts calcium levels in the body. A high intake of animal protein can increase the body's acid load, particularly due to sulfur containing amino acids. To neutralize this acid, the body may use calcium as a buffer, which can lead to calcium being leached from the bones. Over time, this may reduce bone mineral density, weakening bones, and increase the risk of fractures. Also worth noting, plant-based proteins like those from legumes, nuts, and soya do not have the same acidifying effect. Protein derived from animal sources has been associated with various health hazards. One significant concern is the formation of kidney stones. Excessive protein intake not only depletes calcium levels in the body, but also puts a strain on the kidneys due to the excessive excretion of protein. These factors can increase the risk of kidney stone formation and negatively impact kidney health. Uric acid, a byproduct of high protein diets like meat, is associated with arthritis, heart and lung diseases, anemia, hysteria, asthma, indigestion, excessive sleep, joint disorders, and kidney stones. When animals are taken to slaughterhouses, they often sense the danger that awaits them. Instinctively, they exhibit signs of distress, crying, growling, trembling, and attempting to escape. These responses are not just behavioral, they are deeply emotional and physiological reactions to fear and trauma. As a result, their bodies release a surge of stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, which permeate their blood and tissues. This stress doesn't just end with the animal, it carries over into the meat. Consuming meat from animals that have endured extreme fear and suffering can impact human health. Meat is a food devoid of fiber, causing it to adhere to the walls of the intestines and hinder proper elimination. Excessive consumption of animal fat further exacerbates the problem by impeding waste removal from the intestines. Consequently, the intestines lose their tone, allowing waste products to linger for extended periods and release toxins, leading to the development of chronic ulcerative colitis. The digestion and assimilation of meat can produce harmful metabolic byproducts in the large intestine, potentially leading to the development of malignancies, particularly in the colon. Consuming a diet rich in fiber is crucial for maintaining a healthy gut as it promotes regular bowel movements. According to Dr. Hirayama of the Tokyo National Cancer Research Institute, women who consume non-vegetarian diets on a daily basis are 4 times more likely to develop cancer compared to vegetarian women. Meat consumption and egg consumption have been associated with an increased risk of breast cancer. Non-vegetarian girls tend to experience early puberty, while menopause is prolonged in non-vegetarian women. Individuals who abstain from meat and fat require 30% less insulin compared to meat eaters. Additionally, Most vegetarians experience stable blood sugar levels. Prostate gland cancer has a direct correlation with a non vegetarian diet. A study conducted by Loma Linda University in California involving 65,000 people over a 20-year period found that the non vegetarian diet could increase the risk of malignancy by 3.6% compared to a vegetarian diet. Diabetes, one of the leading causes of mortality, is more likely to develop in individuals with an early onset of obesity due to a non vegetarian diet. Atherosclerosis, a cardiovascular disease, is a major complication of diabetes. The early onset of eye diseases, such as cataracts, is prominent due to atherosclerosis. Diabetic individuals are also more prone to blindness, retinal detachment, and kidney problems due to reduced blood supply. Gangrene, death of body tissues due to lack of blood flow or a serious bacterial infection, is more common in diabetic patients because the blood supply to the extremities is severely restricted or cut off due to narrow terminal blood vessels. In a study conducted by Wayne State University Medical School, USA, 6 patients suffering from edema and swelling of the extremities were put on a strict vegetarian diet for 7 weeks. The patients' symptoms disappeared during this period, but reappeared after they resumed a non vegetarian diet. Dr. Alan Walker of Johns Hopkins University conducted a study using electron microscopy to examine dentition. The results indicated that the human race has genetically evolved from the fruit and vegetable eating habits of our ancestors rather than from consuming meat. Research conducted by the State University of New York suggests that over 47,000 children born in America each year inherit certain diseases due to their non vegetarian parents. These children may continue to face physical challenges in their adult lives. According to the World Health Organization (WHO) Bulletin 637, individuals who consume a non vegetarian diet are susceptible to 160 or more diseases. Botulism, a bacterial disease found in animals, can cause serious illnesses or even death in humans. Tinea solium, a parasitic infestation transmitted from animals, can lead to the development of small nodules in the brain, resulting in seizures and fits. Every year, approximately 150,000 people in America die from heart attacks, and around 5.5 million people are affected by heart diseases or cardiopathy. The federal government spends millions of dollars annually on the treatment of these diseases. Anthropologists suggest that consuming meat can lead to increased aggression and enmity without apparent reason, as people tend to become angrier after consuming it. A few years ago, Dr. Passaria, a scientist, made some scientific observations that were televised on a well known news channel. According to his findings, pollution from factories and vehicles accounts to 13% of environmental pollution. However, he also highlighted that 17% of pollution is a result of animal killing and meat cooking. He further emphasized that if we want to save the earth from pollution, it is necessary to give up non vegetarian food. Dr. Pasaria explained that the pain and suffering inflicted during the slaughter of animals is significant and, combined with any diseases they may have, these factors can transfer to the meat, potentially leading to incurable diseases in individuals who consume non vegetarian food. In conclusion, it is highly recommended to avoid non vegetarian food. Additionally, meat cannot be consumed using the Charvan method.